KFSR at CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. We're not too far from Fulton Street, so if you haven't seen the latest in Fulton Street, come out. Check out Fulton Street and then come by the studio and say hello. Our guest this week is with a wonderful organization called the Boys and Girls Club. I'm sure you've heard of it. Kathryn Weakland, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nice seeing you again. We talked years and years and years ago when we were recording out of Fresno State. So here we are in a television studio now recording.
Beautiful station.
So you're with Boys and Girls Club, but before we get there, I want to talk about you. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I've been in Fresno for over 20 years and in the fundraising business for quite some time. Love what I do. Married, have a 23-year-old son, and just very involved in the community, and keeps me busy. Mm-hmm. And my job at the Boys and Girls Clubs is amazing. I'm the Vice President of Development, so I'm responsible for gathering resources and revenue for our clubs and keeping them operational and functioning so that we're there for the kids.
You know, when I worked at United Way, I'm so glad that life kind of took me through there, because I saw a whole different world, because the nonprofit world, and you know, you've been there, so I want you to chime in on this. The need is so great. We have some wonderful people in the community. Mm-hmm. How important is fundraising to these organizations? I mean, we live in an area that funding is not that easy to come by. Mm-mm.
Especially operational funding. I think our donors, when there's a cause, when there's an opportunity, a facility need, or something, a tangible item, it's easy for them to give. But it's the operational support. And you asked how critical. It's absolutely the most critical thing. If we didn't have funding coming in our doors, we would have to close our doors.
And that closing your doors is scary, because you serve children at the Boys and Girls Club, right? Talk about what I don't want to generalize, but what does your client look like, your student client?
So we serve kids ages 6 to 18, boys and girls. So, and our doors are open to them every day, Monday through Friday. Our biggest, greatest impact that we can make is really instilling them that we have a safe environment, safe, positive environment that they can come into every day after school. Out of school time is the riskiest time for our kids. There's a lot of gangs in Fresno County, drugs, alcohol abuse, and when they have that idle time, that's dangerous time for kids. Their minds get, yes, exactly. They're not planning on getting in trouble. It just happens. And so we want to make sure we provide an environment where they can come in and they can play basketball. They can do part of our sports program. They could do arts. They could do STEM. We do STEM programs throughout the curriculums. And just really want to incorporate, whatever we can to encourage our kids and our youth, especially our at-risk youth, especially underserved kids, that there are alternatives, there are opportunities for them beyond what they're thinking or maybe people are telling them.
Let's talk about the clients a little bit, these students or children that you serve. Some people say, you know what, let them stay at home and let them get out of trouble at home. Why do they need to get in trouble? But it's not that easy. Some kids are growing up in a very tough environment, correct?
Oh, yeah. I will tell you, the stories that I have heard from our kids, from our Boys and Girls Club kids, are stories that you would never want to see a child witness or deal with. I'm incredibly inspired by our kids. Many of them have overcome obstacles beyond what someone else could ever overcome. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Mm-hmm. That's such a true statement, especially for kids that are really struggling in environments. They may be coming from a homeless situation. They may only have a single parent. They may have both parents that are incarcerated.
And I want to stop you there, and I apologize if I interrupt during this dialogue, but from the outside, you can't tell. Like, that kid is being a normal kid, running around the park, you know, conversating, being a kid, playing basketball maybe. So on the outside, you may not see it, but on the inside, there's a whole story there that might surprise us.
Oh, absolutely, would totally surprise us. And they don't open up that easily. You know, you've got to build trust with these kids, and that's what our youth development professionals do. The staff members that are inside of our 16 clubs, they're there to mentor and encourage and build that positive, safe relationship with the child so that they can change what their mind is thinking and instill confidence in them. Tell them that they could be anything they want to be. You want to graduate from high school and go on to college, you can do that.
And again, I want to stop you there and ask you, because those are simple things, right? An adult telling a kid, you can do it, put your mind to it. I tell my kids that all the time. But some kids don't have that positive role model to tell them, you want to go on the moon, you can do it, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it really doesn't matter what kind of a home life you come from. There's a lot of kids in our communities that don't have people that are instilling confidence in them and helping them focus on the things that they really need to focus on, you know, leadership and character and academic success and healthy, you know, choosing a healthy lifestyle, you know, making healthy choices when they're eating, making healthy choices with things that are put in front of them, you know, learning how to say no, what's going to be healthy for them in their current situation. We provide a hot, healthy meal every afternoon at our clubs.
So just that in itself, we're dealing with families or children that may not have that. So coming to a safe place like yours, they're already benefiting themselves, correct?
For sure. You know, some of our kids, especially during the school year, they'll have lunch at school, they'll come to our club and have a hot meal at 4. Often these kids go home and they don't have any food in the evening. So they've got to go all the way from 4 o'clock until the next day when they get to school to eat. It's a big deal. You know, you have to feed your mind and your body. And you think about a child, you know, food is incredibly important. I think about when I don't eat, I get cranky.
Grouchy, me
right?
too, I get grouchy.
Your mind doesn't function as well. It's not as sharp. And, you know, we need our kids to be healthy and focused on having a sharp mind.
And I love the word healthy you're throwing in there. There's been a lot of effort in our community to make sure that food deserts or places out there have healthy food, because what some people may be eating may not be healthy or may not give them the strength they need to get by their day.
Right, exactly. We have a lot of grants that support our healthy food program. Grants like from the Wonderful Company. I mean, you know, I went to our Del Rey Club not long ago and they were making fruit parfaits. So they were chopping, the kids were chopping up the fruit. We had plastic knives. They were creating these parfait cups and they were loving them. You know, they can, I mean, those are the kinds of things we want to teach our kids, how they can make things, and they're simple and they're easy to do. It's also teaching them how they can feed themselves.
For themselves. And I think that's a key thing there too, is now you've taught them how to make that parfait, whereas no one may not have taught them before.
Right, right.
So I saw you on the news, I think the other day, you had an opening of a new location. So how exciting is that, or a reopening of a location?
Right, we reopened our West Fresno club. So that club actually suffered a failed roof problem with all of the rains that we've had over the last couple of years, and especially this last year. That roof finally failed, and it was literally raining in that club, and it became unhealthy and unsafe to keep it open. So we had to make the difficult decision to close it temporarily, raise the funds to fix the internal parts of the club that we could fix. We're still fundraising to replace the roof. So we still have a significant amount of money, about $40,000 to go, so that we can replace that roof before the rainy season comes in. So, oh my gosh, the kids were so excited. That is the first club. That was the first Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County. So super critical for us to get it back opened. And they were so excited. I spent the day with them when they reopened a couple weeks ago. And they were just, I can't tell you how many children came up to me and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for reopening our club, because this is where their connections are. You know, they were bored at home. They often they don't see their friends. They could be coming from different parts of the community into that club. So, and that's where they, you know, that's where they've got that safe haven, that positive environment.
Which is excellent. And how, you know, I want to ask you, you could be doing anything out there. You speak very well. Why do you choose this line of work? I mean, what is it about? Because I see the excitement in your eyes when you talked about the reopening and helping these kids. Why do you do this? What is it about this kind of work that really gets in your skin? And I say that because working in the nonprofit industry takes a special person.
Oh, thank you. Boy, that gets me teary-eyed. I love what I do. I'm a social service kind of gal. I love being able to give back. It's not about me. It's about using the talents that I have and being able to educate and visit with an individual in our community about how they can support the Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County. There is such a need in our clubs, especially. You know, our budget, you know, I think our leadership does an incredible job. Our budget's about $3.4 million. We have 16 clubs, 16 physical buildings.
I want to stop you there, because some people say, whoa, 3.6 million is a lot of money. When you've got 16 clubs and all the stuff that you're doing out in the community, that's not that much.
Oh no, that's not that much at all, especially when, you know, you look at the operational, and, you know, I want to talk about that. Operational giving is not a bad word. It is a wonderful word, because it's supporting our staff. Without the youth development professionals inside those clubs, these kids wouldn't have someone they could go to, especially if they're having a bad day or they're in a situation that they really need to get out of. And that happens. You know, it's our responsibility as mandated reporters to make sure we connect them with individuals in our community that can help them. But, you know, give to the Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County. You know, we're doing incredible work. We're raising and encouraging these kids to focus on their goals and follow their dreams. And it's a gift. I love it. I love being able to share my passion about our club. The kids are amazing. I mean, all you have to do is walk into the club and look at the smiles on these kids' faces and see what they're learning. Last Friday, we had a field trip out to Island Water Park.
Oh, how exciting.
We had the cutest little boy. He was from our Mendota club, great club. And he had recently moved here from Mexico. First time he had ever stepped foot in a water park. He had no idea anything like this existed. And at the end of the day, he said to his unit director, "This was the best day of my life." We want all of our kids to say, this was the best day of my life, whether they're at the water park or they're inside the club and they're learning and they're growing and they're educating themselves on the possibilities.
Are you changing lives? Is your organization changing lives out there?
Every minute of every day.
Let's talk about an event that's coming up.
Okay.
And we'll put the flyer on the screen so that people see the event who are watching this on the CMAC channels. So this event's a big deal, right?
Big deal. It's our 23rd annual Stepping Out for Kids, and it's also our 70th anniversary this year.
So 70 years. So your organization has been around here for 70 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. We are very proud of that, and very proud that we've been serving kids and underserved in this community for that long. So I just want to encourage everybody, come out, go to our website, www.bgcfresno.org. Check it out. It is a great event. For those that are not happy about the heat, we did move it inside this year.
So it was hot last year,
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how hot it was. It was miserable, but everybody had a great time. Once the evening, the sun went down and it cooled down, it wasn't so bad. But, it is just a great opportunity to come out and support the event and just enjoy some fun with friends and learn about our club and get to know. We always have our kids there. They come at the beginning and come in usually with the flags. We have flags from each of our clubs, and they walk in. It really shows the magnitude and the size of our organization and the number of kids we serve. 6,500 kids
That's
in
a
this
lot of
community.
kids.
And could we be serving more? Absolutely. But, right now that number is 6,500, and we're proud of that. We're proud of the kids that walk into the club every day, and just we open their doors, we open their eyes, and we save lives constantly.
This event is in September, right?
Yes.
So what can we expect at the event?
So it's a dinner. It's a sit-down dinner. This year we're actually going to have a magic show and a comedian. So a little different than last year. We had a band last year and the year before. But for us, we decided to go with a comedian, a magic show, some casino tables. We'll have a silent and live auction with some great items that they can bid on. And we also have an incredible opportunity at the end of the evening where we encourage people to really, I call it feed the need, we call it sponsor a youth. You're sponsoring a youth. It costs the organization about $650 annually to really support a kid from...
Can I stop you?
Yes.
We're talking about changing lives.
Yes.
$650 is not a lot of money to save a life.
No.
I mean, that's, for the amount of work that goes into teaching these kids, that's not bad. So $650,
$650.
Changes a kid's life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we only charge our kids $5 for an annual membership. $5.
That's not bad at all.
No, and for the children that can't afford $5, and there are children out there that can't do that, they'll do a club activity, they'll sweep, they'll help fix something, they'll participate in an art program because it gives them a sense of belonging.
And that's what I love too, because it's not just you can't afford it, and so someone's going to give you the $5, which I think happily your organization would do.
Right.
But you're teaching them something else. You're teaching them that they need to do a little bit of something so that they have skin in the game, right?
Right, absolutely. It gives them a sense of belonging. I belong to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fresno County. I belong to the Zimmerman Club. And that's really important. And I didn't understand that when I first started at the organization. I couldn't figure out, why would there be an annual membership? But, you think about Denzel Washington, who was a Boys and Girls Club member. J-Lo, they talk about that all the time. We've got actors and sports people out there that have been Boys and Girls, and it changed their lives. That's the lives that we're changing every day. And I just can't wait to see the kids that are coming through our clubs today. Where are they going to be?
It would be nice to follow them and, 10 years from now,
right,
see where they are, because
right.
I guarantee you that some of those kids are going to be in a lot of those kids are going to be in very high places.
Right, right.
And it's all going to be back to their foundation at the Boys and Girls Club.
And that's all it is. We laid that foundation. We taught them about academic success, good character and leadership, sports, arts, recreation, healthy lifestyles. This is what a healthy lifestyle looks like. We have over 30 different curriculums, Sevag. I mean, it's overwhelming to me sometimes to try to remember everything. Financial literacy, how to balance a checkbook, what it costs to live. If you become this type of a professional, this is what your checkbook's going to look like at the end of the month. Is that going to fit your budget? Is that what you want? We're teaching kids about being a man and what that looks like and how to treat people. Those are all so critical life lessons that kids don't get.
And the financial piece is so important because you get, when I worked at United Way, I learned this a lot, is that some people could be making a lot of money, but just that balancing is not there or that money management isn't there. And so, they face challenges at the end of the month. So talk about when you have 16 clubs, right?
Right.
And these are in different parts of the community. When are these clubs open? So what are the hours of operation? And tell us a little bit about, so is it after school program type things?
It is very similar to an after school program. So we're opened during out of school time, Monday through Friday. Typically, like in the summertime, our clubs are opening around 1:30 to 2:30. Every club's different. We do have them posted on our website. They can go to the programs and look and see specifically when a club opens, or they can call. And then they usually close 6:30, 7:30, depending upon what neighborhood they're in. Our clubs are located in pockets of poverty. they're specifically been placed in those neighborhoods where kids can access a club. You know, the typical person isn't driving necessarily past a Boys and Girls Club in their neighborhood. They're going to be, you know, on Tulare or Cedar, and they're located there so kids can walk and get to them to learn and to grow.
And we've talked about this before, but it's a safe place. It's a place that they can go when there's nowhere else to go. And, you know, when you've got a kid bored at home, their mind wanders, right?
Oh, my goodness,
and, you know,
yes.
nowadays with the mobile technology, so 16 different clubs.
Right.
Talk about a little bit about some more of the programs offered. So is each club offering different programs, or do you kind of have a pool of programs that you offer at all the clubs?
So we do have a pool of programs. Our programs are, they were created by Boys and Girls Club of America. So, and that's a benefit to us because we obtain these programs and can then use them within our clubs. And so each club may vary a little bit on the programs they're running, but financial literacy, character and leadership, we have the Keystone and the Torch Club clubs that are for younger kids and older kids, and they teach leadership. They have their own board, president, vice president, secretary.
That's pretty cool.
You know, community relations type person where they're giving back. These kids are fundraising. They're going out. Last year when we had all the fires, our Oakhurst Club, they actually did a fundraiser. They got waters. Then one of the community members actually drove them to the fires up in Paradise. I mean, these kids are philanthropic. They're giving back. They see the benefits that they've reaped through their club, and so that they're giving back. Arts, we do arts programs in all of our clubs. Some clubs have basketball courts, so they can learn basketball and sports. We do leagues. We have summer leagues and winter leagues. And the kids are competing within the clubs, but they're loving it.
That's got to be fun too.
Yeah.
Now you compete club against club. That's got to be fun.
Exactly. And the rights to, you know, hey, we won the basketball tournament. So, and they've got bragging rights for the year till it rolls around the next year. So, healthy lifestyles, you know, food, you know, we're educating kids on food. We have chefs that come in that, you know, teach kids how to cook a meal or make salsa or make, you know, things that are going to be healthy for them. And also things that they can learn how to cook for themselves. So if they're in a situation where there's nobody there that's cooking for them, or they're home by themselves at night because a parent is working, they can go to the refrigerator and they can actually find something that they can eat and feed that mind.
And that is more of a reality than I think people realize. Not everybody works the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 kind of structured work environment. Some of these parents are working late, and sometimes the kids are home alone. So those kind of skills are beneficial, correct?
Right. Well, and you think about our rural clubs. So Mendota, Firebaugh, the Harris Farms Club, a lot of those families are working in the fields. They're starting at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, the kids aren't up out of bed yet. They're not getting ready for school yet. So they've got to know how do they fend for themselves. And we want to make sure we're equipping our kids with every possible thing we know they're going to be faced with in life. We look at it as our responsibility. You know, we have an opportunity to really open the minds of a child.
So I want to talk about volunteers. We talked about funding and how important that is.
Right.
Volunteers is another aspect of nonprofits that they utilize and benefit from. So how do you utilize volunteers?
So our volunteers assist in our clubs with our youth development professionals. So they're going to assist with our programs. So all of our curriculums, they can assist in the art room, helping kids with homework. That is so critical. You know, the first thing we want to do with our kids during the school year is when they walk in the doors, let's get your homework done first. Let's print that report that you're going to need. Let's email it to the teacher if that's what needs to happen. So all of the volunteers that come in, mostly college kids, so Fresno City, West Hills College, Fresno State, and then a lot of our high schools, San Joaquin Memorial, Clovis High School, Clovis West, Clovis North, all of those kids have to do volunteer service hours. And most of the time, the schools really want to see them giving back in an underserved type of a program. And so the Boys and Girls Club,
what a perfect fit.
Yeah, and
What a
their
perfect
mentor,
fit.
peer to peer, they're going to listen to them a little bit better, and they're going to feel really empowered. And I think our littler kids or our teens are more open to listening to someone that's closer to their age. I've been through this. I've done that. This is what I found to be helpful. So our volunteers are critical, and quite frankly, I think we could really use more volunteers, and I just encourage people to reach out. If you've got time on your hands, if you want to give back, if you have some, and it's afternoon time, so it may not work for a stay-at-home parent when their kids are coming in, but reach out to us. We do require a background check and fingerprinting.
Which makes complete sense.
Absolutely. We want to make sure our kids are safe. That is priority number one for us. So, every staff member that comes in, every volunteer that comes in, and I think it's just a real opportunity. I look at our donors as giving of their time, their talent, or their treasure. So their time, volunteering, their talent. So maybe they've got a trade that they can help with. We always have something that's breaking, Sevag. I mean, always.
Well,
Plumbing,
with 16 facilities,
yes,
I mean, you could imagine there's always something.
Yeah, so if you've got a trade that we could probably use, and that is a gift that you could give back to us, that's huge for our budget. That's one less check our leadership team has to write.
So thank you so much. We're out of time. I'd love to chat with you for hours and hours about all the cool stuff happening at the Boys and Girls Club. But I mean, it sounds like there's wonderful things happening there at the Boys and Girls Club. 16 locations. They can go to the website to find one of them.
Yes, go to the website, look us up, call me up, come for a tour, come meet us and meet our kids more importantly, and get involved.
Thank you so much for coming this week.
Thank you.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Thank you for watching this broadcast on CMAC, Comcast 93 and AT&T 99, or also listening to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM. Our director has been Paul Starcevic. Thank you to all of those who tuned in and listened to us about Boys and Girls Club this week. That's all for this edition. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.